Welcome to another episode of TeeVo and the Beard.
You can't see us, but I'm TeeVo, and that is the Beard.
And today we'll be discussing the final episode of Season 5.
Not final episode, period.
Right, of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But before that, our icebreaker this week is going to be talking about Season 6, now that we know it's going to exist.
Well, it's kind of funny. We have talked in length throughout this week because things have happened.
Yeah.
Pertaining to the show, being that they got resurrected.
Yep.
They gave us the episode count,
which so far is 13.
And they gave us the premiere date,
which is
premiere period.
Yeah, next summer, summer 2019.
So lots have happened. A lot we've talked about off air, Yeah. And so just to recap, are you happy? First of all, are you happy that we are getting season 6, a 13 episode, and premiering in the summer?
I am cautiously optimistic.
Why is that? Because
this would have been a great season to end on. I mean, even before we talk about the actual final episode, just as a season as a whole, it had been going out very big, but also very gracefully at the same time. Season 6 puts that unknown variable where I'm not saying that it will definitely ruin the end, but it puts that chance out there now that obviously didn't exist before, the hopes of a season 6 was out there. Your thoughts?
Well, this show could go on forever.
Right.
To me.
Yeah.
That's just wonderful. I do agree that this season was a good season, a very good way to cap up everything, because I'd rather have, each season feel like the end.
Right.
Than the assumption that, we're going to come back, and they don't come back.
Right, yeah.
A lot of shows that got canned last week did that. They thought, we'll be back.
Right.
No, you're not. So, you can't watch the show.
Right.
Because it doesn't end. You're going to leave with questions that will never be answered. So, I'm looking forward to what they're doing, and there are parts of the president of ABC's statement about the show that I agree with. That she did say, or he.
We'll just say they.
Channing Dungey. So for all the fact checkers out there, look up who Channing Dungey is. If it's a man or it's a woman.
Right.
I'm open to be either.
Yeah.
And it could be either.
It could be.
But nonetheless, this person said, they felt like it wasn't right to cancel it because season 5 was one of the strongest written series. And it's like, yeah, I agree. And why should we stop the train there? It's like, totally. If they can come up with this, they've consistently come up with good seasons.
Right.
So why stop the train? But it's just, stray thoughts I thought of going to season 6 is like, well, it's both a good thing and a bad thing. They have a clean slate to work on. They tied up so many things in season 5.
They did. Yeah.
And referenced so many things in the past.
Yeah, all the way from season 1 on.
One of the main villain was someone they teased in the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
So, or 4th. The 4th episode. So that's, now that we do have a season 6 confirmed, what are they going to do? There are things that they can definitely address just from the finale alone, but a long term. Like when they throw out, hey, you remember Jia Ying? You remember John Garrett? You remember Centipede? You remember Gravitonium? It's like, you remember all these things. Yeah. And I'm just curious what season 6 will do.
Yeah.
Just alone on that. We won't get into the actual plot of the finale.
Right, yeah. I still hope that somehow this leads us to new warriors.
It totally can.
Yeah.
I don't see why it can't, but I just don't know. And I think that's it's more exciting than scary to me.
Oh, yeah.
That I don't know. Because, every other season we're like, well, we have a pretty good idea where they could go.
Right.
This one, because again, as we've said many times, they thought it was the end.
Yeah, and this episode was definitely written as such.
But I will say, thank you, ABC, because clearly you're either listening or you're paying people to listen to us.
Yeah.
Because, not if you recall last week, we were just thinking before the news, and we were thinking a hypothetical, what if we got another season?
Right.
And you would ask me, what would I prefer? And I said, well, don't forget, if you don't want ABC, if you don't want to pay for 22 episodes, You don't have to.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, if I had to pick a time where I would like this supposed hypothetical at the moment season 6 for it to happen, it would be after the 4th Avengers.
Right.
Because, they did well at the end of the this season to, kind of skirt along before the finite moment.
Yeah, they definitely made sure to give no actual spoilers.
Yeah. But, were they to do a season 6 between movies, they'd have to kind of skirt along too much.
Yeah.
And we know that they can't show the really good stuff.
Right.
So now that they're slated to premiere after the movie, whatever happens to that movie can dictate what season 6 could do.
Right.
And I think that would be the easier choice if I were a writer. Instead of like, oh, wait, what was that? What are they doing that? Oh, can't do that.
Right.
Oh, no, they're going to do this. Oh, can't do that.
And then you also have to deal with, if there's any reshots or anything like that from the film that would then change your possible plot.
And also if they reschedule the film.
Yeah.
So...
which they got lucky this time with that.
Yeah. And so all of those things ended up happening.
Yeah.
And we do know that there's probably one thing they're definitely going to do in season 6, but is it a definite? Will we see it on screen? Will it just be a supposed thing they do? And
I think it'll be on screen, but we'll get to that shortly.
That's literally all my thoughts on season 6.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just elated and ecstatic and and raptured that I get a season 6.
Right.
Because it's one of those things. I was a lot more upset with other shows, particularly The Mick, because I thought, I really did think, come on. You only pay for 17 to 20 episodes. It's half an hour.
Right.
Most of the story takes place in a house.
Not a bunch of special effects.
Not partly at all.
Right.
Surely you're going to come back.
Yeah.
And then they did not. And S.H.I.E.L.D., I've been preparing pretty much from before it aired. Yeah. This could be it. And that's okay.
Well, I'm thinking that a lot of the conspiracy theorists that say Fox had to get rid of shows in order to afford Tim Allen might be onto something.
I mean, but... A little sidetrack, going into rant. So you get rid of all these shows, and you pay for Tim Allen. Let's say that's true. No. But you put the show on Friday,
right?
I mean, not saying that all shows. I mean, especially now, shows can last a little longer than they used to.
She'll prove that.
She'll prove that. But nonetheless, that's how you resurrect it, just to put it on Friday,
right?
And on that note, the ABC renewed Fresh Off the Boat to put it on Friday.
Yeah.
And my thought was, why didn't you just kill it?
Yeah.
But hey, as I keep saying to many things in my life, I'm not qualified to make those decisions.
Yeah, we'll just keep streaming things and let the networks do what the networks do.
Right.
Yeah. So I think on that note, we're going to take a short break and then go into full spoiler territory. And
excuse me, spoiler alert.
So season 5. The end.
The end.
And I like that they kept the title the same even after they knew they were coming back, because this was the end of a lot of things.
It is the end. And, to jump ahead, whatever they do in season 6, it really will not feel like the same show, because it's supposedly not.
It's S.H.I.E.L.D. For all intents and purposes, it's S.H.I.E.L.D. the next generation.
S.H.I.E.L.D. the new class, S.H.I.E.L.D. Point 2, whatever you want to say, it's what it is.
Yeah.
The big difference is, Coulson did not choose to, sustain his life by taking the centipede serum.
Right.
So while he did give some wonderful moments,
he survives the episode.
Yeah. So we don't see him go away.
Yeah. In case anybody does decide to listen to this before watching the show for some reason, we do not see Coulson die.
But it's heavily...
We don't see Coulson die for a long period of time, I should say.
But it's heavily implied that he will.
Right.
If it wasn't already heavily implied from other episodes.
Right, yeah.
For those who need a reminder, basically his deal with Ghost Rider was, hey, the stuff that, that's keeping me alive... You can have it.
Right.
You can have it.
He was done.
And, they had one, as the predicament, showed, there was one last-ditch effort to keep him alive, and that was to take the centipede serum.
Right.
Which he did not choose to do.
Yeah.
And, like you said, while we did not explicitly see him die, it's heavily implied he will.
Yeah. So, to segue with the serum there, when he walks up to everybody to,
Do the Coulson.
To do the Coulson plan. I looked at Mrs. Beard and I said, he did not take the serum, and it is in Quake's glove. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, both were 100% right. Yes. And I was like, all right, I should write for S.H.I.E.L.D. now.
She is super Quake now.
Yeah, she is super Quake.
I hope, I'm hoping, I thought of this when we saw basically ascended level Quake.
Yeah.
I hope that because they have 13 episodes to pay for now, the effects will get better because they don't have to.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Not that I thought they were bad.
Well, for this episode, comparing to the rest of the season, you can tell that the budget had dropped significantly.
However, it's you still can tell that this season's had more money than other seasons.
Yes, yeah.
Because the fact that they had a full city attack.
Yeah.
That was something that movies do.
Right.
Marvel movies do.
Yeah.
And S.H.I.E.L.D., for rightly so, kept it to very small climaxes. Meaningful, small ones.
Yeah.
So when Graviton was invading Chicago, and we actually saw the streets of Chicago and buildings, I was like, oh my.
But that scene before we see Chicago where the ship is landing, I thought, we're just seeing some toy land on a fake city here. It's like, budget, gone. And then you find out no budget being used a little later in the episode.
I did have to heavily, I did notice, maybe because I've been an extra many times now, I did notice a funny extra.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this person.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I don't know why I'm bringing it up on an audio only, but there was a scene when Graviton was descending upon Chicago.
Yeah.
And for some reason, there was a guy in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And I could tell that he had probably not done this before. Because, they're probably telling him on set, okay, bad guy, coming down, act scared, run away, and on our marks, run away.
Yeah.
Which is, that's what you do. So there was a guy in the middle of the street, and he was just so relaxed like this, full, standing there, and you could tell when he got his mark, because he just stared while everybody around him was running in panic, as good actors should be.
Right.
And he was just staring blankly, and you could tell he was he probably got the go, go, go.
Yeah. My theory, because I that stood out to me too. My theory is he's someone's relative.
Yeah.
And they were and he's always begged to be on the show, and they were like, "All right, final episode
or any show."
Final episode. We'll throw you in this show.
Yep. I couldn't help but notice that guy.
Yeah, no, he really sticks out.
But I just had to comment on that, and I was hoping you saw him.
Yeah. No, I mean, even having no extra experience myself, when I saw that, I was like, this guy is here for a reason, and I didn't think it was like a Chekhov's gun sort of thing where he's going to be important later.
Yeah.
I was like, he knows someone.
Yep.
But anything else, any other thing, they would have cut that, from the final scene.
But I mean, I still was just impressed that they keep elevating the way they tell stories. We used to see citywide panic in movies, so now we're at the level they can do it for a little bit on the show.
Yeah. The whole city attack and then fight with Talbot made me wish even more that this would have been at least an hour and a half or 2 hour episode, because that was a very short fight. Yeah. It's like he lands in Chicago, starts doing his thing. We get Super Saiyan Quake down there, quick fight, and he's out.
Well, as you pointed out, they didn't have enough money.
Right.
Imagine all the stuff that would have to get cut if they made it 2 hours.
At least an episode or two from the middle of the season.
Yep. I did think that, but I kind of knew going in. I was like, this is probably gonna... I think that's why they heavily emphasize Coulson telling Quake to appeal to his better nature.
Right.
Because, hey, appealing is not fighting.
Exactly.
We can act like it.
Yeah.
We don't have to spend extra special effects money on appealing.
Yeah. But I was not surprised by the way it ended, because at the end of the previous episode, I looked at Mrs. Beard, and when it does the next time on S.H.I.E.L.D. and it says, not everyone comes out alive, I said, Talbot's dead.
Yeah.
Talbot's gone.
Yeah. Well, as I think we said this last week. His thing was he sees himself as a superhero.
Yeah.
He believes he's a good guy.
Yep. And nobody was convincing him otherwise.
However, his actions in the last one going, no. We were kind of on you. We were rolling with you the episode
you're still
previous.
Talbot.
The episode previous.
Yeah.
But after the penultimate, it's like, no. You gotta go.
You are a super villain.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the way they got rid of him.
Yeah.
As brief as it was still cool.
Knock him into space.
It was still pretty cool.
Yeah.
However...
Is that like their go-to for killing people now? It's like, we need to get rid of Ward. Knock him into space. Talbot, knock him into space.
Hey, it's a good idea.
Yeah, because it keeps going on. Even if they do manage to survive, they're not coming back.
The only thing that now... I would have been disappointed if it was the last episode. But now that we get more, there's still one more chance she could do this. So, in the comics Quake, there was a very famous scene when she stopped Wolverine's heart using, her powers.
Right.
And when she was, because we've seen her, briefly battle Talbot before, and she couldn't do anything.
Right.
And so it's like, oh boy, you can't just do the same. You're going to get knocked out.
Right, yeah.
So I'm thinking, what's a way she could do this? Ooh. She didn't do that, but I mean, it's still good. But I'm thinking, if it was the end, I was like, oh, they would have done the whole show, and she would have never done it. Well, I don't know how she would do it now, but she gets another chance to do the heart thing.
Right. And I like how, as far as the writers go, so it ends up being, Quake that kills Talbot.
Yes.
Where it was the LMD of Quake that tried to kill him before.
Yes.
And so we have that connection, but then also he gets knocked into space, which turns out to be the only way they can kill him.
Yes.
And previously in this season, when he, a few episodes ago when he steals the ship, he says, I don't need the ship to fly, I need it to breathe. Yeah. Alluding to what was going to happen here. So, I mean...
Hey, they knew what they were doing.
You gotta, I know, we don't talk about sitcoms that much, but, in sitcoms, you can just turn into whatever episode because they don't care. Yeah. But this show, they're showing they actually care about what did we write 3 weeks ago?
And again,
let's bring that back in.
That's where I agree with the president of ABC. They've gotten really good at this stuff. So, everything meant something. Everything led to something.
Yeah. Even Tahiti.
That was wonderful.
It really is magical.
It was. I hope they really were. At least on a beach.
Oh, I'm sure.
At least. They didn't have to be in Tahiti.
It could be a California beach.
But I hope they weren't just on a set with sand and CGI water.
Right.
So that was, I wouldn't say the Talbot fight was a shocker because as many times as a show can surprise us, it's still a comic book show. There are tropes that they have to do.
Oh yeah,
and that's okay. I will say I'm just gonna cut into the shocking moments to me.
Oh, see, I was gonna do one segue before that.
What's your segue?
My segue is Robin. So we have Robin and her mom when they get separated.
I'm so thankful that she is nice to her mom.
Yeah.
Just I was just like, thank you. I don't know what that does for me, but thank you.
But it's when they go in the building try to save people, S.H.I.E.L.D. does.
Yes.
They're like, okay, where's Mac and where's Robin's mom?
Yeah.
Who I'm sure has a name. Lovely woman. Polly. Yeah. Where's Mac and Polly? And they're like, they don't make it into the future. And I was like, oh, so we're gonna see some more death here because it said not everybody makes it out alive. It didn't say who all was gonna die.
Yeah.
But I was happy to see them going with the non-linear form of time travel. Like, we can change this, and May teaches them how to snap the knives off,
which is very easy apparently.
Well, it's one of those things, I guess.
And apparently only sharp points. Everything else in it is not sharp.
Yeah. I guess it's one of those things, though, where it's like once you know how to do it, it's second nature.
It's easy.
Yeah.
But in those moments, we kind of talked about it before, they were approaching a fixed point, so they were going to change it. It had to be like really soon. And with Mac and Polly, they changed it.
Yeah, because when May is talking to Robin, I was like, oh, this is how it all goes down, and you can even kind of see that in May's face a little bit. So.
they changed many things, as in, like, the saving Mac and Polly, and Coulson apparently not taking the centipede serum changed everything.
Yeah.
And speaking of Robin, I did like the moment when, she and most of the viewers realized something's different.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah!
Yeah.
And then right after, Fitz gets collapsed on.
Yep. Yeah. But Fitz does get to be the hero.
Yeah.
Though, before he gets collapsed on. I'll let you take the shocking points there.
So, just one of the many moments, because I've been watching S.H.I.E.L.D., rewatching S.H.I.E.L.D., reintroducing with someone, and I'm still on season 2 with this person.
Yeah.
And, I can't say enough how Fitz has changed, the character.
Right. Well, I like how, speaking of them listening to us, how they even mention in the show, we're not because Yo-Yo says, I wish I would have known you guys before.
Yeah.
And they said, we're not the same people.
Oh my God. I was like...
You can't quote our podcast without giving us credit. Come on.
Or at least cameos on the show.
Right.
Speaking of which, I'm checking my messages for season 6.
You could be that guy running next time.
I could. You could be the other guy running.
Yeah.
But it just, like little things like Fitz saving, changing the future.
Yeah.
And when May throws him the knife, he does not hesitate. He knows what to do.
Yep.
And he killed the alien thing.
Yeah. Definitely not season 1 or 2 or even part of 3.
And I don't even want to begin to go with Sky, Quake, Daisy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's just like, if they said, oh, Sky dies.
Yeah.
And then we introduce a new character named Quake and Daisy. I'm like, oh, sure.
Right, yeah.
Makes sense.
But see, the thing that I like about Fitz is he is a person who has changed, where, Daisy does have,
powers.
The powers and all that. Fitz is someone who has had to adapt and move along.
Yes.
And the actor has done such a remarkable job.
So, he gets collapsed on and already, preceded by the something's different thing. We see everything that's supposedly not in the time loop.
Right.
I was just like, is Fitz okay?
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of rubble.
I mean, at first I didn't worry about him, just partly because we're getting to season 6, but then partly because it's Fitz. Yeah. I was like, oh, he's fine. And then when the hand pops up, it's like, yeah, I told you he was fine.
Yeah. Somehow I didn't. Somehow I personally didn't believe it more because he started doing the hand thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, they're doing it. They're doing this.
Yeah.
They could have just let it go, but they're giving us that extra scene. And by George.
Yeah. He does the whole, legs, can't feel legs thing and all that.
See why he can't feel his legs.
Yep.
And he has been pretty much severed from the bottom.
Yeah, and when they start panning down, I thought that he was literally going to be like, you can't feel your legs because you don't have any legs anymore.
And Fitz was brave until the last moment.
Possibly the best death scene this show has had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there have been a few.
Yeah.
There have been a few.
Because there are a couple times where it kind of goes back and forth, like, are they really doing this? Are they really killing him off?
Yeah. But just between the way Ian DeCastiger played that scene and just the reactionary shot they showed Elizabeth Henstridge.
Yeah.
Reacting to the news.
Because she thought she was in a good mood because Coulson looked a little bit better.
Yeah. It's just, you can only get that kind of emotional feeling by following the characters. And, when Mac basically says it with his face to Simmons, you feel it with her.
Yeah, Mac, that actor, knows how to emote. You feel what he feels.
Mac, oh my God. By the way, Mac's director now of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So, we didn't mention that, but yay for him.
Yeah, with a landslide vote.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't say that Quake, is not being impartial. So.
Right. Yeah.
So, time has been not fixed, but time has been changed, rewritten.
Yeah.
So Coulson doesn't make it.
Right.
We see the people that should have died is not dead.
Right.
the prophecy that basically Talbot will destroy the world to get the Kryptonian didn't happen. So everything
Chicago's still screwed up, but besides that,
well, thankfully, it's not movie screwed up, so they got it.
Yeah,
the amount of money they paid on the special effects, they're okay.
Yeah,
there's just a big hole in the ground, but sure, whatever.
Yeah, they've had potholes before. It'll be fine.
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, it's not like when the Avengers happened,
right?
If you saw that, you're like, oh my goodness, they are screwed.
Right. Yeah.
And how they keep coming up in the movies.
Yeah.
Which is, on a side note, that's why I'm glad that certain shows now in the Marvel Universe don't take place in New York anymore. Because, we get it.
Yeah. Leave New York alone for a minute.
Yeah. But, everything's hunky-dory, per se. We do get a sad moment where Simmons is packing Fitz's stuff up. Mm-hmm. And this is, I had to think about it when they were doing the scene.
Yeah.
And I think that's good because I'm emotionally involved in what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do a aha moment. I knew that's where you were going.
Yeah.
But, I'm thinking, oh my God, Fitz is gone.
Yeah.
There is no more Fitz.
Yeah.
When season 6 happens, we are minus Fitz.
Right.
So Coulson gathers everybody up, and that's when they're basically ripping us off.
Yeah.
We'll settle with the cameo. And, Simmons is there and saying things and on behalf of Fitz, and and he says, this isn't a funeral.
Right.
And I was like, well, okay, sure.
Even in that context, I understood that line, and I was like, kind of cold, Coulson, but fine.
And then when he says, I wish I could say goodbye. You tell him that when you see him,
I thought that was a very morbid line at
Me
first.
too! I was like, what? I actually, if I could have paused, I would have. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Are we in some kind of afterlife dream sequence right now? Is he talking?
Everyone's dead.
I was like, there was.
In fact, Coulson's the only one that lived.
There was just so many parts in that tiny scene. I was like, wait, I need to pause.
Yeah.
But I can't. And then when they open the back of the Zephyr, there's a white light. I was like,
yeah.
What is going? I thought everybody made it.
Yeah.
And then took me a while after that scene. So, no, that wasn't a dream.
Right.
He was not in the afterlife, nor in the other afterlife we saw.
Yeah.
Surprised they didn't mention that as well.
Yeah.
And I would have lost it because they started saying, where we do this, for all the people we lost. I said, if you name every single person, I'm going to lose it.
Right.
Thankfully, they didn't.
Right, yeah.
And I was mainly thinking about Trip. And, Coulson steps on a beach.
Yeah.
He finally actually gets to go to Tahiti.
Right.
Not only does he go to Tahiti, he gets old Sugar May.
Yep. Sugar Lips gets to come with him.
Yep. But the thing about Fitz was, it took me a while. Oh, yeah. It's the oh, yeah moment.
Yeah.
There is a Fitz out there.
Yep.
Because while they change what happens in the future from that point on, they can't change, or at least we're pretty sure they didn't change what happens before.
Yeah.
And what happened before, Fitz did freeze himself to rescue the people.
Yeah. Because they didn't go back in time to the diner or to before the diner, which would have then erased that.
Yes.
They went back after the diner, undetermined kind of a amount of time after, but enough that Fitz would have already been out on the search.
Yep. So my
Which means, will we get Enoch back?
I think so.
I hope so.
I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Great. I miss Enoch.
Yeah.
I really miss Enoch. And it's too bad the Joel David Moore version of the alien is also gone, because he would have been like, oh, yeah, here, I'll get it for you.
Right.
Darn it. Can't be too easy. But before we, let you go, let us go.
Yeah.
What does knowing that there is another Fitz negate the scene we saw?
No, because after, in fact, it was actually me and Saran discussing it this morning, that I was able to, I still can't explain it in words out of my mouth, but I can
explain it in noises.
I can, woo, and
I want to know what the woo.
That's that was Fitz going out to find them. Again, using hand gestures for an audio podcast.
Yeah.
But it makes, after him and I kind of talked it through and really broke it down, it makes sense now. Because last night it did feel kind of like a cheap, kind of like play. It was like, oh, well, Fitz died, but who cares because now there's Fitz.
I thought of it as it's just sadder in a different way. Because the Fitz that we saw throughout basically this whole season,
yeah,
he's already grown as a character, but he's become the guy we like.
Yeah.
So that every development we have is gone. I mean, he still loves Gemma. He's still planning to propose.
Yeah.
The Fitz that's frozen in space, there's not too much different, but the one we really got to know this season is gone. Basically, I mean, because he's not going to go through certain things.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of what he went through in this season, he could only go through because of like the stuff that happened in season 4 and before that. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be that different. I'm just wondering if they're going to have, if they, on a legal, like real world point of view, do they have to get remarried? Because she didn't marry this Fitz.
No.
So.
And I wonder whether we see it on screen or not, whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, is this team gonna just let him develop naturally, or when they wake him up, it's like, by the way, so
here's what you missed,
and we're married.
They're just gonna play season 5 for him, and like,
we're married. So I know you're thinking about it, but don't worry.
Yeah, already done.
Already done.
Yep.
Don't need to worry. Here's your ring.
Yep. And again, to give more some more credit to the writers.
Yes.
I liked that before that happened, the Fitz dying happened. Deke goes on a walkabout to explore nature before the possible end of the world. So we have no clue what happened to him. If he vanished, if he's still there.
So basically, this episode, I was asked if I could give a very big hint, but non-spoilery. I said, well, I mean, 3 people go away.
Yeah.
1 saw. And 1 is heavily implied.
Yeah.
And 1 possibly, but we don't know.
Right. And that's where the writers kind of, the writers are like, we're going to give you this obvious one. We're going to give you this one you have to think through.
Yeah.
And then we're going to give you one where if we bring him back, we do. If we don't, we don't. You have no clue. And I'm also kind of wondering, do they know if they're going to bring him back?
No, because give them time to think about it, because I did read articles of certain websites who got a hold of the writers.
Yeah.
And Clark. And, you ask some questions about the episode.
Yeah.
I want to ask about the future.
Yeah, especially when the future's over a year away.
And the fact that, Clark even said it, well, it's tough because we just got picked up. It's like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I know that, they openly said if they come back, they can continue on.
Yeah.
But I don't think they meant like, oh, well, we have it all planned out. We just, I took it as, well, if we do, we can roll with it.
I will say my final thoughts for this episode was that final scene, the final 2 scenes actually, the beach scene and then the New Kids on the Block scene, most aesthetically pleasing scenes I've ever seen from S.H.I.E.L.D. It's like, that is how you end a show right there.
Yes. Whether it's for good or just for now.
Yeah.
Because, premiering next summer, it's going to be a long time.
Yeah.
Till we see him, so it could really be like a new beginning. My last question is, I still don't think Agent Piper and Agent Davis are actually going to be on the team.
No.
It was just nice. They just needed bodies, and they're like, "Hey, you guys been around for actually a while.
Yeah, we'll throw a name on you, and
yeah.
Hope nobody liked you though. There'll be fan fiction written. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So. But I think that about wraps it up for this episode.
Next week we'll delve into this whole season in review.
Yeah.
What we liked, what we didn't like.
Yeah.
And be on the lookout for a future episode, because the Beard has given me a challenge.
Yes.
A challenge that I'm still really working
I was hoping it would be an actual challenge.
It is. The challenge, the easy task is top. You said 5 episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is tough in itself, but I have a lot to choose from for good reason. But the big one is he gave me the challenge of least favorite.
Yeah.
And I'm having to really think about it, because I have to think, well, why didn't I like this?
Right, because I wasn't going to let you just give me titles of the episodes. It was going to be, okay, well, why didn't you like this?
Yeah, and I've got 2 solid of the 5, but I'm still working on it. But rest assured, that's a while. But until next time.
Yep.